Good morning and welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bells. This is Brock Shimano. Today is August 9th and we're seeing corn, soybeans, and wheat all trading higher one day before the big August 10th report. Let's take a look at this December corn contract. We are actually approaching highs. We printed them this morning in the overnight session, but as soon as that pit opened, notice here this is the end of the overnight session, as soon as that pit opened, we saw some selling, we saw some palms out here. This morning it seemed as though people were taking advantage of some of those higher prices in a lower, in a less liquid market, a lower volume market. So it'll be interesting to see how this trade pans out today. I would assume that we're going to kind of stay within this range, but who knows, we may have some speculators in here assuming that tomorrow's report is going to be very bullish, and we may actually see this market move a little bit higher. Brock, we had two reports come out today. We had ethanol and we also had export sales. What did we see in ethanol? Is that situation improving at all?
Yeah, it really is improving. Over the last couple of weeks, we've seen a couple of upticks from what was record low production. This week, or the week ending August 3rd, we saw 817,000 barrels per day produced. That's up 1% from last week. But keep in mind, year on year, we're actually down about 10% from where we were last year in production. Stocks, we saw the largest decrease in the stocks figure since December last year, but again, year on year, we're actually 2 3/4% above where we were last year at this time. The thing I would like to note about this is how much corn is actually being used for ethanol right now. We saw 87 million bushels being used last week for corn for ethanol production. What we need to do to meet USDA current expectations is 113 million bushels a week. So we're quite a bit below where we need to be to meet expectations. So tomorrow's report, I do believe we're going to see some sort of revision to the ethanol usage of corn in tomorrow's supply and demand report.
Yeah, speaking of revisions, I really think that we'll also see some revisions in export sales. Let's take a look at the export sales that were reported this morning. 174,000 metric tons in the old crop for corn. We had 105,000 metric tons for beans. That wasn't all that great. I wasn't overly impressed, but once again, you got to remember we're in a seasonally depressed time of year for these bean sales. And take a look at wheat coming in at 665,000 metric tons, and that was a pretty good increase from last week. In terms of where we need to be to meet USDA forecasts right now, corn is so far behind. The USDA is going to have to revise its expectations for sales this year. We simply don't have enough weeks to catch up unless there's just some miracle. So right now we're behind 50 million bushels. I expect the USDA is going to have to revise just because sales has dropped off so much in the last part of this marketing year. Beans also, we're ahead of pace. It's a complete switch here from the situation that we see in corn. Beans is well ahead of pace. I think the USDA is going to have to revise their sales higher, and I think we'll see that tomorrow. So the bottom line here is we're going to see some estimates. In terms of trading this report, really what drives price action after following the release of a report is where we came out relative to expectations for the market. Brock, can you just walk us through some of the expectations that we have for this 10th WASDE report?
Yeah, what we're looking at here is the corn yield estimates. The big number I think everyone's going to be looking at is what the Reuters poll is reporting. That's a poll of about 21 analysts. They're looking at about 127 bushels per acre. So if we come out quite a bit lower than what that is, the Reuters poll is expecting, I think that's going to be pretty bullish for the market. If we come in quite a bit higher on the USDA report tomorrow, I think that's going to be bearish for the market. And then for soybeans, kind of the same story. Informa and Reuters are sitting at about 37 bushels per acre. So if we come in below that, again, that's going to be bearish. And if we come above it, it's going to be, below it, it's going to be bullish. Above it, it's going to be bearish. So that's the number that you kind of need to keep in mind as you look at the trade report tomorrow. At GrainTV, we'll be tweeting about that as soon as that report comes out tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that sounds good. We're going to have another GrainTV this evening that's just going to outline the entire report and all the expectations that analysts have for it. So stay tuned, and we'll have that posted by around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Central Time. So we look forward to seeing you there. Stay tuned and follow us on Twitter. We'll see you tomorrow.